The 2010s were a very important time for video games, indies and AAAs alike. After all, it was a decade the Lego Movie game for the Nintendo 3DS came out, how could it not be? After the internet's rise in popularity thanks to the previous 2 decades, it was a race to see which game would hit it off next. So many hit games released this decade, some lasting for a day and some to this day. But there are 3 games that I would say hit it the biggest, struck the most gold, and haunts every sentence I make ironically. These 3 games are the biggest games of the 2010s. I want to go through all these games and see if they hold up, what made them popular, and who. So join me in my sad room and computer that barely runs Pokemon Showdown without crashing as I go through these masterpieces. And no, this isn't just the dark age of Nintendo. It's not inspired by that at all. The Wambu made like 3 Halloween videos a year apart, so that's what inspired me. Yep. Speaking of Halloween, actually, our first game of the bunch is Five Nights at Freddy's, the original. I actually did want to release this video on Halloween, but I finished it early and I didn't want to keep all of you waiting. Let's talk furries. FNAF was released on August 8th, 2014, and it grew basically overnight, to even creator Scott Cawthon's surprise. I mean, instantly people were playing it, reacting to it, and trying to dissect its lore. Yes, this game does have lore, but I'm not going down that rabbit hole. So it all starts in the early 1960s, we assume, with 2 businessmen, Henry and William Afton. They started business together, but William decided to tell his daughter not to go near the baby, and she does, and dies, and then goes on to possess baby. So William doesn't want this to happen to his son. He does these things where if they get wet at all, they get, all messed up, and they start shooting inside your body, and then you die, and it's very sad. Goes down at the Circus Baby's Pizza World and finds all the animatronics who trick him into getting scooped so he can go inside him and walk down, freeing all of the children's souls, and finally condemning William Afton to hell, ending the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. That was until the VR game Help Wanted, where they sort of rebooted the franchise. Basically, the games are actually games in the universe, and the company made them to try and... Before we get into the actual rabbit hole of this series, its presence online, let's get into the gameplay. Riveting! FNAF is a sit-and-survive type horror game. Instead of the game making you go into a room you don't want to go into with a monster or something, now the monsters come to you, and it's your job to keep them out. This is what set it apart from most horror games at the time, and contributed to its success. It wasn't just the same horror tropes over and over again, which was getting really repetitive at this point in time. You're in a pizza restaurant with a night shift, about as excited to start as anyone with a $120 a week salary could be on the first day. You're all alone, except for 2 lights, 2 doors, and a phone guy, the murderer of the children, a ghost from the suit, a guy who gives you helpful information such as,
if you happen to get caught and want to avoid getting stuffed into a Freddy suit, try playing dead. Go limp. Then there's a chance that maybe they'll think that you're an empty costume instead.
What button is that again? You'll be defending yourself against Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy for 7 nights, as the title implies, and each have a different attack method. Freddy, who doesn't start until night 3, teleports around the building, laughing all the while. It's basically a guessing game for when he's at the door. Bonnie, the objectively creepiest one out of the whole franchise, will come down the left side. Chica, the objectively least creepy one of the whole franchise, I stand corrected, comes down the right side. And Foxy, watch the cameras to keep him in his corner or he'll run down the left side. Every night someone else will be thrown into the ring. There'll be an increase in difficulty until the 7th night, which is a custom night. Increase the difficulty as much as you want. That's basically it. There's no way you could possibly expand the gameplay of that except in 9 sequels, 3 spin-offs, 15 books apparently, and a movie. Scratch that last one. But let's ignore most of that for now and go into the dark part of these videos. The internet. My first hearing of FNAF was on the elementary school bus. Yes, it's that old. Hearing children talk about creepy animatronics in a building, 4th grade stuff. When I got home that day, I was curious enough to go into the TV in my kitchen and look up this phenomenon. And the video that started it all, the one that would introduce me to a franchise I hold near and dear to my heart to this day. It was the fucking annoying one. Despite the Orange's, best efforts.
Yeah, everybody's been telling me to play this game. Pear played it on his channel as a challenge video, Little Apple played it on his channel, and everyone screamed and shouted and got really scared. It was hilarious. Hey, check it out. Hey, they brought my fans. Get it? Fans? Oh, it's a joke, guys.
So I was still scared of the game and even looked away when the power went out. From then on, it began. A lot of people on YouTube were playing this game to catch their reactions. It would be hard not to find somebody playing it, but the most popular by far is Markiplier's. Even to this day, his first video is the first thing to come up when searching the game. Only 92 million? Please, Please. Have you seen my reaction to the Nintendo? Please. Have you? Please. Please. The only thing scarier than the games themselves were a lot of things, but also how "Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier" rings in people's heads to this day. He has funny red hair.
Yeah, fuck you!
How could I talk about FNAF without mentioning everyone's favorite theorist? But he doesn't have funny hair, so I'm not interested in him. Another bigger video that lives in my memory is that one SMG4 video. Basically, Mario from Legend of Zelda gets a part-time job at Fredbear's Fazzy restaurant, and crazy antics happen along the way. I remember loving this video as a kid, and it's still okay watching it now. I liked it so much, in fact, that I showed it to all my friends at school, and they for some reason still watch SMG4 to this day. I tried starting a charity for them, so if you want to support the less fortunate, please donate. Anyone remember that random top 10 video? The guy with the deep voice that creeped me out? I don't know why I watched this video so many times, but it's in my long-term memory now, so that's cool. But that's okay, I can watch a video on how to make the game not scary. I'm even more scared now. One thing that I think surprised everybody is that people made a lot of songs for this game. You know, the game where you click on stuff. These showed up all over the place, whether it's about the game itself or the lore, but the most famous by far is the Living Tombstone one. I would play it, but I played it in a shitpost I made and the comments got disabled, so I'm not risking it. But that's what a coward would say. I'm playing it no matter what. We are not falling to our overlords of the Living Tombstone. We're playing this now. Get ready! There was also these, like, FNAF raps, and, like, I know, you don't need to tell me, I was there, I get it, like, I know. What was the bite of 87 actually? Why does it seem like every damn event at Freddy's is no less than a massive catastrophe? You don't need to reiterate the gravity of making sure I don't run out of battery, so they don't reconfigure my anatomy, adding me to the mechanical like, I know, I was there throughout the whole thing, you don't need to tell me. That was the prove a point, by the way. It hurt for you, and hurt for me, but you needed to know a part of my brain was wasted with that knowledge. These songs are only listenable nowadays for nostalgia and the feeling of, oh god, I thought this was good. Some of them are okay for music about Five Nights at Freddy's, but not much beyond that. Well, now that that's out of the way, I have some time to just sit here for a couple hours, maybe watch some posters. This game had a lot of rare screens and Easter eggs, ranging from posters changing to a big yellow bear. People would put in the thumbnails that they found an Easter egg like a big accomplishment, even though really they just clicked on a square at the right time. But people were excited to see them. That let people be able to make fake ones and pose them as real, like Sparky the dog in the back room. Some actually did convince people, and by some I mean all. People fell for this one, so let that sink in. But to be fair, in a game with this many rare screens and secrets, it wasn't that hard to believe that someone would just find another one day. I'm being honest, it's kinda hard to think of a bunch of stuff for just the first game. Yeah, there's a ton of it, but trying to limit myself to just one game and not any of the sequels is weird. Oh wait! Fan games. No, you can't find any at GameStop, but you'll find them walking around outside. FNAF is a relatively blank slate of a game. Like I said, a lot of room for gameplay to evolve. Just add your own robot and boom, fan game. There have been some really high quality fan games, but most of them came later, so once again, I'm limited to the FNAF 1 selection. FNAF 1 and 2 selection. So, let's see what the fans came up with. Five Nights at Wario's, JPEG City, baby. Five Nights at Treasure Island, based on Disney, menu gave me a migraine. Five Nights at Ronald's, pretty accurate to a McDonald's visit. Yeah, I'm sure you've noticed the pattern here. Yep. Yep, do that, and yep. Name done. But what about the first fan game ever? The one that started the whole craze of fan games? It must have been amazing. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Massacre. Man, I can't wait to see what this game can offer. Are there speedrunning categories for this game yet? Now with all this creativity, it can be really hard not to throw your own hat in the ring. I've even tried to make my own animatronics. Of course I have no talent, so making a game out of them was a no-no. I think I remember doing like an alligator one. It just looked like Freddy's body but with an alligator head. Hold on, I'll try drawing it from memory. Wow, this is actually a really good design. Scott, you ass! But my personal favorite fan game, top quality, is absolutely Funtime Freddy runs out of toilet paper and has to use Bon Bon. An absolute classic.
Relinquish your Pokemon!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the obligatory meme section, where I show off every single meme in my camera roll. Enjoy!
Peter, what are you doing?
One thing you could never take away from the series is that it would never fucking die. I mean, like 500 times the hype of the series should have died down, but then the creator Scott Cawthon released a new one in like 5 minutes. If you were there, you were there. If you know, only 90s kids will remember. The hype, yeah, of course it died down, but it took way longer than it should have. With constant releases of teasers and stuff for future games, the series stayed relevant for a decent while. But of course, I still think the original is the best. It's the scariest, it's the most nostalgic, the gameplay is the most solid, the atmosphere is just right. It didn't try too hard to be scary, but being the best of an indie series where you don't move is one thing, but being one of the biggest games of the decade? Why? Well, besides all the obvious stuff like it blew up on YouTube and other websites I didn't use as a kid, it changed the horror genre, which at this point was getting stale, and also kinda made its own genre. As I said, there's like thousands of fan games for this one series, some of them surpassing the quality of the originals. People made FNAF fan games as their first ever game, so it clearly left an impact on people playing. That on top of all of the art and the songs and content left a mark on the internet for at least a couple months that you can't deny. So that is why Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is one of the biggest games of the 2010s. And to think I got through this whole video without a single jump scare. Never mind, this game sucks.
Now, the developer Scott Cawthon made a sequel, so I could definitely try out that one to see if it grabs me. And if that one doesn't do it, how about this one? Or this one? Maybe this one. This one might do it.
Hello, this is Scott Cawthon.
Stop.